Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's episode we are going to be making guanimes or guanimos. Okay, these are the ingredients that you're going to need. Some adobo, coconut milk, some cornmeal, black pepper, package of sazon, some garlic powder. Here I have about a quarter cup of tomato sauce, some banana leaves. I just washed these, okay, but I'm going to boil these for a little bit so they become a little bit softer. Some olives, onions. This is half a purple onion, half of a green pepper. These are about 12 olives. No pit inside, just some peppers in them. Some olive oil. This is the package the banana leaves comes in. And some codfish, salted codfish. I'm going to take 2 slices of codfish. This is a pound. I'm going to put it in some hot water and boil that about twice to get all that salt off that codfish. Let's get started. Alright, so while my codfish is coming up to a boil, we're going to get started with the onions and peppers and the olives. So this is some olive oil. Turn on my stove. Say that's maybe about 5 tablespoons. Now we're just going to saute this until the peppers and onions are very soft. So this is the second process of my codfish boiling. Okay, I boiled it the first time, discard the water, put some fresh water in there, boiled it again. Now we're going to take the codfish out. Use this. These are my onions, peppers, and the olives. They're nice and sauteed. Don't discard the water because it still has some salt in it, just in case we need to put more salt. I'm going to finish kind of shredding up the codfish with my spoon here. Alright, so here we have the codfish. Don't worry about making the codfish, very thin or anything like that, Even if it's still in chunks, we're going to have to stew this anyway, so it's going to break apart, okay? We're going to add tomato sauce. And our seasonings. You see how it's a little bit thick? That's why I reserved some of the water. Quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper. Quarter of a teaspoon of garlic. Running out of garlic here anyway. Some adobo. I'm going to do a quarter teaspoon. Don't put too much in there because if it's salty, you cannot get the salt out of there. Okay? Always test it. And my package of sazon. I'm going to use about half a package of sazon. Now, before I add any water, I'm going to cover this and see if it sweats some of the water out. I'm going to lower it down to about a 2. I don't have a lid for this pan, so that's why I'm putting this stuff kind of in the middle. The bacalao, codfish. Put that aside. Let me test a little bit. Oh yeah. We're going to cover and cook it for about 15-20 minutes, and we'll come back to it. So before I told you guys, before adding the water onto here, if you have it covered, it's going to release some water. You guys see that? We'll put the top to the side. Let's just mix everything. It smells so good. But I forgot to add sofrito. So I went into my freezer and I got a small block. Just gonna toss it there in the middle. Cover it back up. We're gonna wait about 5 minutes. So the stew is all done. See all that water there? I'm just gonna mix it up, everything all together. It's really good. Let me put a little bit more water in there. Just plain water. Gonna put this in a bowl and let it cool down. Now here's my pot. We're gonna go on to the next process. Coconut milk. We're gonna warm that through. Here I have my cornmeal. Never add cornmeal to milk. It's the other way around. So once this is hot, not extremely boiling hot, just hot enough, I'm going to put my cornmeal in a bowl, about 2 cups, and we'll pour the milk into it until we get the consistency of, like a masa, like pasteles. All right, so my coconut milk is done. You see how you see a little bit of steam coming out? That's when we know it's ready. So we're going to shut the stove off. And I'm going to move the camera over here so you guys can see what I'm going to do now. Alright, so here we have the cornmeal. This is 2 cups of cornmeal. I'm going to pre-measure the milk so I can then tell you guys how much I used. Let's start off with 1/2 cup. Another half a cup. I'm going to add the last bit that's there. It's not much anyway. So this whole can pretty much. You're looking at 2 cups of cornmeal and a whole can of coconut milk. I think it's a little bit too liquidy, so I'm just going to add maybe like a tablespoon. Alright, that's good enough. Looks great. Let me set this aside. I'm going to clean up and we're going to go on to, I'm going to make a pan with some water and heat these up a little bit so they become more flexible. Here are the banana leaves. They're in hot water. They become easier to use if they were in hot water because sometimes they crack. So I'm just going to let them sit. I shut the stove off. This is about 5 minutes of boiling the water and I just put them in there. I shut the stove off and we're just going to use one leaf at a time. So here's my first leaf. I'm going to grab a tablespoon. Dry it off a bit. A little bit of olive oil. We're going to take our bacalao mixture. This is my first time doing this. Then you're supposed to be able to roll it up. Got a tablespoon. And tie it down at the ends. Just like that. My little strings here already pre-cut. Which I actually forgot to mention that before. Twine. You're going to need that. So much easier if you have somebody else to help you out with this too. And then you boil this for about 40 minutes. I'm going to finish making the rest. So my first leaf wasn't working because it was breaking. So what I did is I tied it up. I wrapped it up again in another leaf. And now I'm tying it up again. So none of the filling comes out. See? I'll work on my next one. I'm going to do my last one here, but I ran out of paper. I only managed to get about 4 done. This is my 4th one. But this is how I wrapped them. They kind of look like a piece of candy. I have some water boiling right now. I'm going to put the 4 of these in there. I'm going to add some more cornmeal in here. And we're going to try it fried. We'll see if that comes out. Alright, so here we have it. My guanimes or guanimos. Managed to make 4. Wrapped up in banana leaves. I still have some leftover bacalao or codfish stew. And a little bit of masa. I was told you can fry it also. So what I did is add a little bit more cornmeal onto here. About a tablespoon or 2. Until you get like this thick mixture. I'm going to put flour on my hands. And I'm going to roll them into my hands like cerullos. They're also called corn fritters. So I would take a little bit of this, put it in my hand, roll it up, put a little sliver in between it, put some of the codfish, and then kind of roll it up. But anyways, I have some water boiling right now. This is going to take about 40 minutes for it to fully cook. But I wanted to show you guys really quickly what it looks like. My water is boiling. I did not add no salt whatsoever to the boiling water, okay? I'm going to toss these guys in there. Right, so I had the water boiling for about 10 to 15 minutes before I even put them in there. I have it on a 6, anywhere between a 6 and an 8 right now on the stove. And this is going to cook for the next 40 to 45 minutes. I was anywhere between 40 and 50 minutes. Okay, so that's going to take a while. We'll come back when that's done. Alright, so here we have it. My guanimes or guanimos. We have 30 seconds left. I set my timer for 45 to 50 minutes. I can feel it in here. It's kind of sturdy. I'm going to flip it one more time. And there goes my timer. I'm going to cancel that and shut the heat off. That's it. And I'll serve it on the plate. Right, so here we have it. Guanimo or guanime. Smells delicious too. Throw this away. Let me clean my hands. Oh, wow. Alright, let me get a fork and knife. Let's see what the inside looks like. Oh, wow, look at that. Not too bad. This is a cross between like polenta and cerullo. Now that tastes good. With a little bit of the stewed bacalao. And this, wow, it's good. This is my first time ever making it. I think it came out. Came out perfect. People do the cornmeal on the side and then put the bacalao on the side, the stewed codfish, but I wanted to stuff it, and that's what I did on this recipe. Look at that. Oh, it is really good. Right? I'm going to display it on plate. I had to test it out first to see how it was. And it really is good. Alright, so we're going to do the fried version now. My oil is frying. So I toss it in the hot oil. That's what it looks like. I'm going to make another one with my hands. Se me abrió. You could do like rellenos de papa. He's giving me a hard time. Alright, so we have two recipes here. We have one that is boiled, which is this one. It kind of looks like a tamale. And this one, which I made kind of like a stuffed potato ball. Honestly, they both taste good.